I want to be clear about something um, that I said in my previous video, but I want to be extra clear about it. Patriarchy was not a concept that black men, even, my current generation and below, it wasn't a concept that we had. We had ideas of having traditional relationships. Now I know the women, they want to argue because, again, they want to throw up busy assignments and all that stuff, and they don't want to get with it anyway. Moving past that, I'm saying the women have stated their price, and they say, build a community. I'm saying that even currently, the black boys that are being raised, whether it's by a single mother or whether it's by a two parent black household, they're not being taught, community correction. They're not being taught go to school and acquire some skills that will benefit, the community and correct the community. Because the reality is anytime you go into a situation, anytime you're talking about fixing the black community, you're dealing with dysfunction. That's what you're dealing with. This is one of the things that Six the Goddess said in her video, in this latest, whatever battle she's having with people. And it's true. You're going to deal with dysfunctional people. You're going to deal with situations of single mothers, unemployed men, underemployed men, addiction, teen pregnancy, kids not doing well in school. Like, these are the things that you're going to deal with. Social services, things that people need, access to the internet, access to grocery store. These are all the things that you're gonna deal with. And I can tell you that black men were not geared towards this. They might get it at a HBCU with a college professor, mentioning these things, and communities, like HBCUs in the surrounding areas that might gear young black people towards that outreach programs and stuff like that. But generally speaking, in the day-to-day operations of whatever we want to call black families in America, that is not a conversation with the boys. The conversation with the boys is about them getting themselves to a certain level of financial success to provide a lifestyle. That's what it's about. And this also contributes to, in my opinion, it contributes to, also the concept of, what do I need a black woman for? Yeah, if you're not building a black community and you're not participating in the black community, and you have other races of women that are dishing out, free gas. Cap sent me a video about a woman, the what is it, Illuminati. She's got the little Illuminati, pyramid head with the all-seeing eye, and she's did a video about um what is it, freaking, these sort of towns, these towns that were built by companies, and she brought up the point about how, what is that noise? She brought the point up about how, slavery ended, and then immediately, the white folks went into Jim Crow, and they created all these vagrancy laws to lock black men up. And, with the 13th Amendment, how labor can still be extracted from you if you're a felon, right? Because they didn't want to pay for anything. When people are getting something for free, and this is black men's problem right now with this whole other races of women running around giving free gas out, because we don't have to build, their community is already built. We don't have to build them a community. They look at a black man and they strictly focus on lifestyle. They're not focusing on power dynamics. They like, a black man's lack of power doesn't really affect her unless he, draws the ire of, other races of men, and then they start snatching economic opportunities from him, if he's getting his economic opportunities, from them, which 9 times out of 10, he is. And this is a problem. Okay. So it's not just about, getting past the, oh, well, I'm getting free gas over here from these other races of women. I don't have to build a community, and I can take the lifestyle concepts that I was sold, by the black community, including black women and black mothers, and I can go and I can apply that over the fence with the Latina or the white woman or the Asian woman or whatever. And again, as long as you're providing a lifestyle that is equal to or better than what that woman is coming from, depending on where you come in on the socioeconomic ladder, most of those women are going to be cool with that, because truth be told, women are not race loyal. Women are loyal to power, and in a small way, a man that has financial stability, they see that as quote unquote power, but it's nowhere on the scale of actual community level power. That's a whole different level of power. Like a man who's gainfully employed has more power than a broke man, but men who are organized as a community have way more power than an individual man who's gainfully employed. Right? So there's levels to the shit. But what I'm saying is, no, we were not geared, to, and I'm not blaming black women. I'm just putting this in your pipe for y'all to smoke. Okay, we were not geared, in that direction. We were told, provide, don't be a dusty, stay out of jail, don't be a criminal, right? Which ironically, these are some of the things that the women aren't attracted to, because it's too lame and it's too square and it's not exciting and dangerous enough, right? So there's a lot of double talk going on. But I'm saying we were told that, and that there would be Kerry Washingtons wrapped around the block. And that didn't happen. And a lot of black men are still stuck on they want what they were promised. And with all this free gas, going back to that whole, the whole thing about white folks, trying to find a way to still extract free labor from black people. They created those vagrancy laws because it's very difficult for somebody who's used to getting something for free to now want to pay for it. That's very difficult. And that's pretty much, what's going on right now with black women, stating their price. And black men are like, why am I going to do that? I've been over here, getting shit for free. You know what I mean? Like, we go to college, we get our career started, we make money, and all, as long as, I'm making this money, again, the traditional concept, not the patriarchal concept, the traditional concept, he's making money, she recognizes he's a successful man, she gets with the program. There's many more other races of women that are, that are all for that and about that, than African American women. And I'll say there's probably are African American women, that are about that. But unfortunately, the voices that are louder than you right now are the women that either they're feminist, either, they don't want to get what they don't want to get with black men's program. They have a superiority complex about black men. They don't want to live up to black men's standards. Those are the loudest black women right now. Okay, they completely overshadow the women that are like, I ain't thinking about no goddamn, community and all that. If a dude is a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, and he's making hella fine money, I'm getting with that. Oh, he wants some sandwiches, some lemonade, whatever he needs. I'm about that, because I'm not trying to be in poverty. Right. This goes into the whole, the women that want to do this whole, demure shit and this luxury movement and all that other stuff. There are black women, who are like that. But, again, there's the loudest women in the room, and the women that are making content and videos online, and you can go pound for pound, whether it's from the divestors to the women that are like this lady Boulay, to Cynthia G, versus the women like Shay Shardays. There's way more of the the previously mentioned women on YouTube than there are of the Shay Shardays. That's just fact. And like I said, niggas are dumb because they go out here attacking Six the Goddess, when Six the Goddess is telling black women they need to lose their weight and they need to be more feminine and do certain things if they want a particular caliber of black men. And y'all attacking her over stupid shit. When like 75% of her content is on your side. Like, niggas are just dumb. They're dumb. She's a stripper. Dumb. Dumb. And then when she turns on your ass, what I'm saying, like Chrissy, then y'all will be really mad because you caused her to turn. All that fucking obsidian shit, all that shit that he tried to do with the trying to dox Chrissy and everything else, that's the primary reason why she turned on niggas. Because while she was up there trying to be a little bit more balanced, here comes Obsidian with his bullshit. And so that created a whole nother monster. and we got niggas out here still riding with Obsidian and co-signing Obsidian and shit because he be doing all this extra shit in the background because none of these niggas that are doing the grifting have any integrity. They don't care about the community. They don't care about the conversation. They're only here for money, which is why they will go out there and side with a white woman that wants to sit there and deny, co-sign a freaking white Hispanic man that wants to deny or downplay the Holocaust and downplay, slavery and Jim Crow. And this is and this is what these motherfuckers are siding with. It's disgusting. Again, I go back to that conversation about knowing where the edge is, and a lot of black men don't know where the edge is. Or they do know where the edge, they just don't care because they're grifting so goddamn hard. But I just wanted to make this video just to say that no, we were not geared, in that direction. I'm just pointing out like that is something I'm glad is brought to, our attention. That is something that needs to be corrected. And as it pertains to, black men bitching about what's going on with black women, yeah, black men need to shut up on that front. If why are you all going over the fence? Oh, because we're getting gas for free over here. But if you want us back, you have to, basically, give us, the same type of gas that we're over here getting for free, from other races. And that's what's so crazy, because even with the whole, the other races setting up the gas station, right across the street from black women. It's everybody. Everybody is over there. You know what I mean? You go over there, you can get, unleaded, premium, super unleaded. You can get freaking, what's the other one? Diesel. You can get your kerosene over there. Hell, they even got a Tesla charger in the back. You see what I'm saying? Like that's how much. That's how solid that free gas station is. And I wouldn't suggest for black women to just come through and give black men gas for free, because we do need a community. I'm saying black men and black women. But do I see black men getting ready to do that? No, I don't. Not until the faucets of the free gas are turned off or cut off, or something, happens, that makes it so that black men no longer have access to that. As long as they have access to, these other women and all the free gas that they're given, and the fact that, their ability to provide a lifestyle is valued. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna go over there and get their free gas. The whole community aspect. There's a lot to that. There's creating economic opportunities. There's literally challenging Ray Ray and Pookie, and I mean the most savage elements of Ray Ray and Pookie in the black community. That's not going to happen without bloodshed, and that's another issue, because with the way that the society is and the police departments, and that we don't own operator control, and tackling some of the criminal elements, in the community. A lot of black men ain't built like that. Why do you think I've been advocating for years for black men to get their CCW? You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not the violent type, again, going back to what Jordan Peterson says, his famous, quote about, you need to be a dangerous man. A good man, is not, a man that does not engage in violence at all. He is capable of violence, but he has it underneath voluntary control. And this is where a lot of educated lames are. I know that we don't have the heart. I know the vast majority of them do not have the heart. I know the vast majority of us are squeamish at concepts of, like somebody said in my comment section a long time ago, has somebody's head on the pavement looking like you smashed a watermelon, right? Because if you ever seen a bullet go through the back of somebody's head, that's what it looks like. And we got brothers out here that are squeamish. There's elements in the black community. There's guys out here that are so savage with their shit. They don't give a fuck about who they hurt, who they injure. Like that has to be corrected. You know what I mean? You can't sit there and talk about patriarchy, and you got, 11-year-old girls in your community being sexually assaulted and nothing's being done about that. You know what I mean? Like women can't correct that problem. Men are going to have to correct that problem. And it is annoying that every time we even try to bring up anything to get these women to cooperate, they go rape and pillage, rape and pillage. They got to go all the way to the extreme. Even bringing up countries that we're not even in. And what about what is that what is that FGM. I can't say the word because YouTube will fucking age restrict the video, but the whole the mutilation thing, that goes on in Africa. Right? They'll bring up shit like that. Shit that goes on in Somalia of all places. They'll bring up stuff like that and be like, and try to connect that to African American. Like, where the fuck is this going on? You know what I mean? So it's annoying because there's a lot of disingenuous arguments that the women will have just because, again, you have this population of women. They don't really want the problem to be corrected because as long as it's broken, they can justify their belligerence. They can justify their lack of cooperation. They can be as difficult as humanly possible and then, just be a Cynthia G and just make arguments and try to shame black men. Like they can do that, you see. But I'm just saying, I'm like, okay, build a community. I'm like, yeah, we were not geared towards that. We were geared towards lifestyle. That is what black men, these so-called educated lanes, that is what the majority of us were offering. We were not offering, community, fixing the black community that currently exists. Going into, I don't know, North Philly and fixing it, going into, Temple's having all these problems in and around Temple, going in there and correcting all of that. Right? We weren't geared towards that. I know because I've witnessed it. The idea was to basically get an education, get that, high paying job and move out to an area where usually we do not predominate and is safer and basically just be that, that token black family living the middle class life. Essentially how I grew up. I know what the freaking goal was. And quiet as is kept, there's a lot of black men and women who are not community focused. They're like, I ain't doing that. It is more important to them for them to raise their family, raise their children in a safe and secure environment than to care about what's going on in the community because they can't be at two places at once. You see, they really can't be, as soon as you start getting into people having kids and everything, and it's like, okay, you got to live in North Philly to pick it up, to clean it up. And you're a black person that has and is in that environment. No, first off, that cannot be one man armied or one family army. That cannot be done. It would have to be a coalition. I've had extensive arguments about this over the years. We've had conversations about, the black people who, are well-to-do, picking a plot of land and moving to that particular area. But that's not really correcting the problem. It's establishing a base. It's establishing a network, but it's not really correcting the problems that already exist in, many of the urban ghettos and, even the country ghettos. Like if the neighborhoods outside of Atlanta or, places in Florida that I've seen, where it's like, you get outside of the city and, there's black people that live out there, but, they're poor and, there's crime just as if it's, a major city, but it's just more spread out, where people get, shot and killed in front of, quick mark type of convenience stores and shit. That's like literally the community grocery store that's stuffed into a corner store. Those type of situations and setups. And once black men and women start having families, they focus on self. They focus on at the very least getting their kids to a point that maintains the level that they're already at. And that is their primary focus. Their primary focus is not the community. Now, like I said, what I don't know what percentage of black women would be out here, ruining that. You get a guy and he's established, and your kids are going to a decent school, maybe a predominantly white school, and then you're gonna fuck all that up because I can't respect him because black men have no collective power and they haven't built a Wakanda for us, to operate and function. I'm like, you're really gonna tear this up because that hasn't been created. And I'm saying that's for each individual person to decide. I do understand the argument from both angles, on that front. And not to mention what's also irritating is you have people who will talk like they're community focused and community oriented, and that they're willing to sacrifice anything for the community. And then when you get down to the brass tacks of their own personal situation with their own family dynamics, they're like, oh, I ain't doing all that, fuck that, I got kids to raise. You're like, huh? You were just talking all this stuff. Yeah, that's for y'all to do, and then it turns into the, well, who's y'all? That's for the childless men to do, right? And then now you start getting into who wants to make the sacrifice, right? You got the people that aren't dealing with the problem. They're not in that environment. It doesn't directly affect them. They worked hard and they want to reap the rewards of them working hard, which is not in that community. You see, every other community that comes into the black community, Asian, Dominican, with their bodegas and all that other stuff, they're there to vacuum resources out. They're there to exploit that community. That is what they're there for. Black men that would go in there to correct the community, that's what they're going in there for, to correct it, not to exploit those people, not to displace those people, not to raise the rent all the way up into oblivion where those people get evicted and they can't leave there. A freaking Jewish landlord doesn't give a shit about that. This was talked about with, James Baldwin in his conversation about that. He don't give a shit about that. It's not his community. He can exploit those people all he wants, vacuum resources, and take care of, his family in the suburbs. But that is not what building a community would be or look like or is supposed to be. When you're talking about educated black men moving back into that environment to fix or repair what exists there. And then you have all the other cultural stuff. The stuff where again, it's like you're patching up the boat and then you got somebody actively drilling holes in the boat. The women that are having babies by Pookie, the culture that surrounds, like even the bullshit I called out about Dame Dash years ago. I took the money and I flipped it. I took the money and I flipped. Where did you get the money from, Dame? Where did you get the money from? And everybody was like, yeah, I'm a boss. If you not a boss, you's a sucker ass nigga and all this other shit. And I'm like, okay, so now we get into the everybody's a boss, nobody works for anybody else, right? The inferiority complex black people have for one another. I can't work for another nigga, right? Now we're looking like Haiti, right? How do you get a freed slave to work for a freed slave, right? How do you, I fought in the revolution just like you did, right? So you can't get anything done. But there's all this, ghetto mystique that surrounds, what it is to be hood and street and everything, and everybody values that. And I'm not saying that there isn't anything in there, to be valued, like that I'm gonna get it out the mud, get it how I can get it and whatnot. But, some of the things like the violence, things like breach of contracts, like the shit that even Six did in her recent video with Antoine. Like I said, I don't particularly care for Antoine, and Antoine has been doing a bunch of foul shit. But they had an agreement that if they ever had any issues, that they would contact each other first before making a video. And Six the Goddess broke that contract. You know what I mean? She could have called him up before she decided I no longer want to have this association with you. This is the issue I have with you. Give him the opportunity to resolve it, right? And then go from there. And quiet as is kept, there's somebody that I no longer talk to because of that very reason. getting accused of shit and not calling me. I'm like, you could hit me up, didn't hit me up, and I mean, just accuse me of shit. You saw it. You saw. No, I didn't see it. Just accuse me of shit. And that's why, we don't fuck with each other, to this day, or a large part of the reason. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I totally get that shit. But see, that's the type of, because this, the Six to God has got ghetto shit going on with her. She's already highlighted and demonstrated that and pointed that out about herself. But I'm saying it's that type of shit, which is why nobody wants to go in there and take the risk. Like you want people, like, in other words, if people have the responsibility to go in there and fix a situation, the people that are being helped by that situation have a responsibility to look out for that person. And I don't see a whole bunch of that. And some of that comes down to the fact that you get black people that are in poverty or in ghetto situations. And what they do is they don't like the fact that the person comes in there and, oh, nigga, you think that you better than, well, he's in a better position than you. He's in a better position to help. Like you can't have it both ways. You're not in a position to help yourself. You just bitched about the fact, oh, these motherfuckers ain't doing X, Y, and Z. They ain't helping. Then when he comes in there, oh, nigga, you ain't better than nobody. Like, what are you doing? There's a lot of that type of shit that goes on. Because, the dude's making you feel some type of way. But by the same token, you can also not come in there as the black person that's, in a better position, and then just stand there as though your presence is charity. I could talk about, like, primary example, Kenny Gamble, for example. Kenny Gamble could walk up and down the street all he wants. He ain't going to get touched. I tell you that right now. He ain't going to get touched. Okay? Because Kenny Gamble has invested, in the black community. You see? He's got to be up in age now. He's got to be in his 80s now. But I'm saying invested in the community. Gave people jobs, economic opportunities, all that stuff. Invested in the community. He won't be touched. And to get to that level, yeah, you do got to put people on. And this is part of the problem with all the animosity between street dudes and educated lames. Street dudes, you can't be running your mouth when you see his wife and trying to holler at her when this dude is in the community there's got to be a two-way street of some level of respect. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, a lot of us, a lot of the black community does not like hierarchies because we see it as something borrowed from the system of white supremacy. We don't like hierarchies, but that's that it's a part of the situation. You got people that have skills, they have talents, they have abilities, they're doing things. You got to respect it. Both coming from men and women. And especially when I look at the women, I'm like, if you want more men to be like this, why are you sitting on the cock of Mr. Unproductive? What are you doing? You know what I mean? That is a big motivation for men. Yeah, I'm gonna go out here, get my shit together, and do this and do that, so that I can get the woman that I want on my arm. Okay, that's mission accomplished. Now I can focus on all this other stuff, as opposed to just stopping at pussy. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, a lot of black men's hyper focus on pussy is because they're running around, trying to complete that part, trying to get that woman, trying to get that situation down, and that being some secure shit that they don't have to think about, they don't have to fight about on a regular basis. They don't have to, argue with that woman. I got a cooperative, beautiful woman at home. She's got my child, raising a family. Okay. And then it's like, what are you going to do? Be all up underneath her every day? No, you're going to go out in the street and get it and whatnot. And that's a primary motivator for men. But it's not a motivator when you see black women out here with, tattoos all over their body, acting ratchet, having Pookie's babies, just bad attitudes, the sort of, the way that they shit on educated lames, because truth be told, they're not attracted to them. Again, some of that stuff can be worked on. getting these guys in the gym that can be worked on. Getting them in it. If the U.S. government can turn a bunch of nerdy 17-year-olds into SOCOM soldiers and special operations soldiers, the training of young black men can be corrected. And that could be a combination of having some street dudes and some educated dudes, coming together to mentor these boys and getting them where they need to be. Firearms training, martial arts training, business training, how to conflict resolution, all that shit. That's all the type of stuff that you would need. You know what I mean? When to respond, when there will be a response, that type of shit. Fuck what the women got to say. This is not about them determining when you are to attack. Again, that whole unpaid bodyguard thing. Fuck black women on that shit. You know what I mean? I'll say point blank, period. Even when a young woman gets raped in the community, it's not so much about the young girl getting raped and there must be punishment for her being raped. That's part of the problem, or part of the, what is being, pointed out, right? Or sought after, right? There's consequences for such acts. But the other aspect, the majority share of why there's a response is because, again, if you take ownership and pride of an environment and a community, like that shit can't happen on your watch. The man is more not pissed off for the girl who was violated. Yes, that's very sad and very unfortunate. But it's more about the shit like you gonna come in here and you just going to think that you just gonna do whatever. It's like that scene. If I don't know if y'all seen it, but that scene with Negan in The Walking Dead where there was an attempted rape and he stabbed the dude in the, with the knife. You know what I mean? He was like, there's not going to be any of that here. I am the alpha male. You see, that's why, there needs to be those sorts of responses. But see, the women, they want you to do it because, you worship the divine female principles. And that's not why shit goes down like that. There's more to it than that. You know what I mean? Even when white guys try to go out there and they try to white knight for white women and whatnot, they're not doing that just because, we care so much about, white women being violated and everything. No, they're staking a claim to their territory that I created the rules. This is my environment and this will not go down in my environment. And then you have, the other, the other trinkets that they get from white knighting and, then running back to the women, we protected you. But it really, that's only one half of the equation. The other half is the male ego and letting other men know that I am supreme. I am the alpha force in here, not just on an individual level, but on a group level. This group that identifies, that has a unifying identifier, whatever it is, this is the same thing that you see with black gangs and shit like that. Grape Street or whatever name they want to throw up there, gangster disciples and shit like that, like, GD killers, all that stuff. They're like, this is our block. You know what I'm saying? And educated lames need to have that type of attitude, when it comes to the community. But again, the whole matriarchal mindset, the whole, women are the boss bitches and they run shit and all this other shit, that's not conducive to having that type of mentality. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that black women do are antithetical to the goals that they say that they want, or the results that they say that they want from black men. They're antithetical. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And with the level of resistance, that they put forth. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm at 33 minutes. So I really wanted to really, really drive this point home. That's pretty much all I got to say for now. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.